What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So first off, I just wanted to thank you for the amazing support that you guys did on my previous video and the video after that. You guys just, put so much support on it. I just wanted to personally thank you so much for that. So today we're going to be talking about the most brutally honest lessons I have learned from high school, and this is just a quick message to all high school students. This is going to be interesting, so let's get to it. Alright, so number one, they don't prepare you for the real world. And what do I mean by this? Well, what I notice is they don't really teach you about credit and credit scores, right? You kind of have to teach yourself, okay? Oh yeah, you should get a credit card, but why, right? They don't tell you, oh, you need a high credit score to get a loan, to get a phone contract, to get a car, right? How do you do it, right? They don't tell you how to do that. They don't tell you the benefits of credit. They don't even tell you how to read a credit score or what a low or high credit score is, right? If I tell you an 850 is a perfect credit score, what's the point of that, right? You wouldn't know, right? So you have to understand how that works. And one way to do that nowadays is you got to teach yourself, right? Because they're not going to teach you. Okay. Now, obviously, as teenagers, working against yourself consciously and subconsciously is really big, right? Procrastination is one of the things. And school doesn't teach us that, right? We don't really know how to overcome that fear and that anger to just, push it aside and stop procrastinating and really, push ourselves to continue doing what we should be doing, right? They don't teach us that. And we have to learn who we are internally, subconsciously, in order to overcome that. So, that's something that you definitely want to look into. I know some high schools do have psychology, and you really understand how the brain works. So that's definitely a class I would recommend taking. I never taken it personally. I taught psychology to myself through books like 12 Rules for Life, Think and Grow Rich. Those, really, really powerful books, especially Think and Grow Rich. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people have read that book and completely changed their lives. So now another thing is they don't really teach us how to learn. And I know it does kind of sound weird, but they don't tell us to figure out what works and what doesn't work, right? They don't tell us to look at the text in a different perspective, right? I spent my whole summer traveling, reading, work, family, right? But when I was reading, I wanted to learn, right? I had that desire that I just wanted to keep learning so that I could build off of those ideas, right? And I could spread them to other people and potentially help them with what they need to do, right? So now, coming into college as my freshman year, no matter what the text is, I'm still going to read it because I'm obtaining more and more knowledge. Right? It's that desire for more knowledge, no matter what it is, right? Who knows? Maybe your friend would spark up a conversation about it and you can add into it, right? Makes you sound even more intellectual. And one thing that they always do is they tell us read and answer these questions. Okay, why are we doing this, right? For me, I kind of make questions up in my head, right? Why did the author say this? How can I go back and summarize this paragraph so that I could fully understand it, right? They don't explain why we have to do it. They just say, you have to do this, but that's it, right? And then you have a test to memorize it. They also don't tell us like you should study chapter A on Monday and then review it on Wednesday and then review it next Monday so that you can fully remember it, right? They only tell us, okay, you have this to study and here's a test, and then they forget about it. Why do we need to learn it, right? Why do we need to know about these leaders, right? These great leaders, the emperors and all that? Well, they were the people who shaped who we are today, right? They shaped our military platforms, right? The way we militarize our people and how we do those strategies, right? We can implement those military strategies into how we can push competition in business. They don't talk about that. We just talk about, oh, he did this, and that's it. And that kind of goes off to the topic of knowing who to learn from, right? Napoleon Hill. No one would know Napoleon Hill if they didn't search for it, right? School doesn't teach us that. They don't teach us all these authors to read from. Like I said, 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson, he's a psychologist. He was a college professor as well. Napoleon Hill, Robert Greene, Ryan Holiday. They don't tell us who these authors are from because they don't teach us why we have to read. Okay? Now, this is kind of becoming as more of a rant, but you really have to learn yourself, right? School just tells you the basics, but you have to understand why you're learning it and kind of go outside of the boundary, right? I know in my English class I just read a book about America's Next Top Model, but why are we reading that? Well, now we're learning how much discrimination goes on in America's Next Top Model that we don't know about, right? It's more of an eye opener to the reader and to everyone else because it may look great on TV, but there's some stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right? And that can pertain to other companies as well. That really opens your eye to say, hey, maybe this is happening in another company. Maybe we should take a look into this, right? No matter who you are. Now, they also don't teach us how to determine if a career is right or wrong for us. They just tell us, okay, you want to do this? Okay, now go ahead and major into that. But why, right? But they say, okay, the pay is this. This is why we have an issue with jobs, right? If you're going to work in the corporate world, you only work for the money, right? You go in and out 9 to 5 and come back home. That's why you can't become a millionaire like that, because you're only working for your time, not for your value. School doesn't really teach us that. It doesn't teach us the difference between that. Would you rather be sitting in an office, a cubicle, 9 to 5 every single day for the rest of your life, making the same amount of money? Or would you rather go get paid for your value and potentially be making more and more every month? They don't teach us that. That's the issue. All right, so this is another one. Now, this number 2 has really stuck to my mind ever since I started college, because it's kind of interesting how it works. Now, most friends will disappear. Everyone's going to a different college, and you have to understand that, you know, great things do come to an end, but also they could be saved. But you can't have too many high expectations of keeping your friends from high school. Now, obviously, if you're going to the same college, yeah, definitely. But not everyone is going to be thinking the same way as you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you want to keep your friends and stuff like that, but maybe your friend is not thinking of that as well, right? Now, this also comes down to knowing who your friends are, right? Someone who you think may be your friend, the day after you graduate, they stop talking to you from high school, right? That's just how it is. That's when you understand and discover who those real people are. So now high school is all about who has the best shoes, right? Who has, I guess, the nicest car, right? Senior year. And so when you get to college, now I can't say too much because I've been in college for about 2 weeks now, but college is more of everyone's grown up, everyone's on their own, everyone's independent. No one cares if you are wearing a costume or if you're not wearing clothing at all. No one really cares, right? Everyone's for their own, and it's not really judgmental at all. And so that's what makes it so much more better, because you can fully express yourself and who you want to be, right? No one cares that your car is from 1995, right? It's a completely new life that you're starting. No one cares that your car is from 2020, right? It's next year. No one cares, right? Everyone's on the same boat. Everyone's on the same level. So the only thing that you could do is meet together and build a relationship with someone. I know personally, I was sitting outside and my friend was inside. He texted me to come inside. And so he sent his friend outside to me. And this guy was very outgoing. And I was like, whoa, like I've never seen someone outgoing, like, you know, in this area, right? Like someone so like high energized and stuff like that. And, you know, people want to meet each other, right? People like want to come up to you and say, hey, let's be friends. Let's do homework together, right? Let's study. High school, they don't really do that, right? Everyone's got their groups. Everyone's got the popular group, which, you know, I hate using the word popular because, you know, you're not popular for anything. You just have your own group, right? Just a big group. Anyway, but right, like everyone starts forming friends, and then, you know, your friends could be meeting some other friends. I know when I was sitting and doing work, a bunch of my friends were texting me, you know, different friends they all never met before. They all came together and we just formed a group like that. And that's how, you know, you guys become friends, right? So in high school, it's not like that. Everyone, you know, are thinking, okay, I'm in this group, so I'm not going to talk to this group because I don't like this group for some unknown reason, right? There's a lot of drama in high school. College, not so much. If anything, rarely. And like I said, I've been in college for 2 weeks now, so I can't really say too much, but that's what I've learned so far. Now, they also don't teach us how to write better and build our vocabulary. Now, yeah, you know, you got the vocab quizzes and the vocab tests, but why do we need to learn these, right? I remember for the finals, we had to learn remember 200 vocab words. And then after that, I completely forgot them. Why, right? Now, when you get to the big world, when you start talking to these executives and these recruiters for companies and internships, you want to be using better vocabulary, right? You don't want to be saying you know, this, like simple words, because then you just sound like the ordinary, right? You don't sound like someone who is well deserving for the job, right? It completely changes you. And how do we do this? Well, I've been reading so many more books, right? 12 Rules for Life. has so much more better vocabulary than the average book, because Jordan Peterson talks such a professional way that the more and more I read from him, the more and more I absorb that knowledge, and I keep training myself to talk like him and even use his same context, right? So it trains my brain, and high school doesn't really teach us that. It doesn't teach us why we need to do that. It just says, okay, memorize 20 vocab words, and you're gonna have a quiz on it, and then also you got to remember it 10 months down the line for the final, and yeah, that should be it, right? That's what they do. They don't tell us why. So guys, those were my most brutally honest lessons I've learned from high school. Obviously there's more, but those are the top 3 that I've seen, that I noticed every time I'm walking in college. I notice those things. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like down the video. Share this with someone that you think definitely benefit them, so that they can start getting to learn more and to teach themselves some stuff. So like I said, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one.